the screen hasn't really changed much in the last hour or so. It's still 297 for the NDA, 245 for the BJP, 230 for India, and about 97 for the Congress. In fact, the Congress has been to the Election Commission saying that the counting process is far too slow. But we've got our guests with us, Yamini Aiyar, former CEO at the Centre for Policy Research, Syed Zafar Islam of the BJP, and Samajwadi Party spokesperson Abbas Haider. Yamini and gentlemen, many thanks for joining us here on the program. Zafar, to you first. Look, the expectation that was set by the BJP was 400 par. The exit polls seemed to come out there and reaffirm that. And we saw that massive rally in the stock markets come Monday. What we are seeing today is a very different picture. Not just the overall number, but the expectations that the BJP had. For instance, the massive state of UP, where things have turned completely out of script or off script. Maharashtra. Even states like Rajasthan, etc., where a clean sweep was expected, Karnataka, a clean sweep was expected, hasn't gone as per plan. What do you believe has gone wrong, Zafar?
Well, it is not the right time to pinpoint any particular reason for this kind of performance. But of course, once all the numbers are there, then maybe the leadership will definitely introspect and find out what is the reason, why it went wrong, why we have lost in some seats in Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, besides Rajasthan and Maharashtra. Certainly, these are the places where it has not gone in as per our expectation. That results are not suggesting that what we had spoken, and it is definitely beyond our own worst case estimates. So definitely we will wait for the final outcome to come. We'll wait for the final tally, and then of course we will take a call and understand where we have gone wrong. Because last half an hour I have seen that we were at 33 in Uttar Pradesh. Now we are at 40. Definitely, slowly, needle is moving in our favor. That's why I'm thinking that best to comment on these once we have the full tally, final tally, and we know exactly what is our position. Because we definitely, even now, we expect that our actual tally will definitely not be less than 350 or will settle somewhere between 325 and 350. But whatever it may be, but in terms of our performance, I'm sure that we are disappointed.
How are you saying that you believe, how do you still believe that you're going to get closer to 325 and 350? The tally so far, as I've been pointing out, and it hasn't changed, is still under 300 for the NDA, and it's about 245 for the BJP. So what is giving you the hope, or where do you believe you're going to get those numbers to take the NDA to 325 and 350?
Shireen, if you just see the Election Commission data, then they have not announced these are only the trend and indication. But in terms of the actual victory, there are only few seats where
we've lost that line with Zafar. He believes that there could still be a reversal and things could go in their favor. Yes, he's right. The Election Commission has not officially declared winners in many seats. In fact, very few seats where the actual winners have been declared. But let me bring Abbas Haider into the conversation. Abbas, many thanks for joining us. I would imagine that there is a sigh of relief in the camp, in the India Alliance camp, but particularly, jubilation as far as the Samajwadi Party camp is concerned. What do you believe has worked? And do you agree with Zafar that things could still turn in UP?
Yeah, certainly things will turn in the favor of India Alliance in UP, not just in UP, but across the country. I believe that, this election has, basically given certain messages. First of all, there is nothing called Modi magic in India. There is nothing called, there was overhyped Modi popularity across the country, which was nowhere, not just in Uttar Pradesh. In fact, we have seen that Akhilesh Yadav ji is more popular than Narendra Modi. That's what the people's mandate is saying. Another thing, even in Varanasi, Prime Minister was tailing behind the India candidate initially. Now he is leading with a not a big margin. They were saying that we are going to win Varanasi with a margin of 10 lakh votes, which never happened. He's leading by just around 1 lakh vote. And even the Ayodhya seat, which was they were focused on Ayodhya seat. The Ayodhya seat, India Alliance Samajwadi Party has won. That is a very big message, not just across the country, but across the globe. The people of the country, the people of the state have shown that negative rhetoric won't work anymore. They want work on the ground. They need development, and they have voted for their fundamental issues in Uttar Pradesh. If you go across the issues of the India Alliance and Bharatiya Janata Party, the Prime Minister was talking from Mujra to Mangal Sutra, Mutton, Machli, and the India Alliance was talking on the fundamental issues. We were talking about jobs, we were talking about employment, we were talking about the legal guarantees on MSP to the farmers. So certainly this has worked for us, and Bharatiya Janata Party, I hope they have learned a lesson that people are no more going to get into those empty rhetorics, and they'll vote for their fundamental issues.
Abbas Haider, isn't that the beauty of democracy and the Indian voter? It teaches everyone a lesson or two, and today might be the time for the BJP to introspect. But we've seen what has happened to your own party and many of the others. But that really tells you that nobody should take the Indian voter for granted. But let me get Yamini Aiyar into the conversation before I go back to Zafar. Yamini, many thanks for joining us. It looks at this point in time that it is going to be the NDA, but not with the BJP in a majority. How do you see a coalition government, a true coalition government this time around, with parties like the TDP, with parties like the JDU being able to enjoy higher leverage, changing the political and economic dynamic?
Shireen, indeed, this is going to be new for the BJP, and particularly new for the Prime Minister, whose governance style is so closely linked to the cult of his own personality and a style of centralization rather than delegation. And I think my reading of the result today is that the Indian electorate has told the BJP that it is indeed anxious and worried about its unbridled use of power, as it has been over the last 5 years in particular. It is really important to recognize that one of the most crucial issues in Uttar Pradesh, for instance, the big surprise state of this election, was a concern that 400 par meant constitutional change, meant a challenge to social justice and reservations, which are closely intertwined with people's understandings of social justice. Rural hinterlands, suddenly the constitution and abstract imagination enters into the domain of mass politics. This is a message from the Indian electorate that the BJP needs to put some constraints on its unbridled use of power. And each time through the election, as the Prime Minister himself, frankly, sought to use the bully pulpit of his rallies, etc., to try and polarize the electorate. In some senses, the tired electorate kept coming back and said, that's all very well, but respond to our concerns about jobs, our concerns about inflation, our concerns about governance, and crucially, our concern of not misusing excessive power. That's the message. How the coalition is managed going forward, if indeed the NDA coalition stays, will very much depend on how the BJP and the Prime Minister himself chooses to read the mandate. Will it read it as I have just articulated, or will it read it in some other way? And if it does, if it exposes its more pernicious tendencies again, I think we will see a lot more pushback from the electorate, from the Indian voter, perhaps not necessarily always in the electoral domain, but outside of formal institutions of democratic processes through protests and other such.
You know, that's well put. Shireen, just an anecdote. I was talking to sort of a reporter who was on the ground covering elections here in Maharashtra. And this is, of course, after the exit polls, and I was talking to her, and she was saying that, she found, all the issues which have been there. I mean, farmer distress, and there was the onion issue here in Maharashtra, which was a big thing, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And her sort of sense, of course, was because, you see stuff when you travel extensively. And then, of course, the exit poll numbers came, and they showed what they showed. She didn't know what to make of it. And I think there was a lot of conversation about, what you see on the ground and then the conversion of that into votes. So I think this is, And I was talking to her today, and it's this kind of sort of validation that sometimes, at least, I mean, what you do see on the ground when you travel extensively, what you see firsthand does translate sometimes.
Right. Well, no, you're right in pointing that out, Prashant. And I think also, of course, the post-mortem of the election internals will be done. But again, going back to what we were discussing earlier, the exit polls had given the Congress at best a 20% vote share. And if you look at the numbers now, the Congress has done much better than that. The BJP is pretty much in line still with what the exit polls had suggested. And some pollsters had cautioned that it would not be appropriate perhaps to extrapolate seat share on the back of, what the vote share was suggesting. But, we got the numbers that we got, and today we have the numbers that we have. But let me go back to Zafar. Zafar, what now? What we are picking up is that phone calls have been made. The Prime Minister and the Home Minister have both called the TDP chief, Chandrababu Naidu, to ensure that the NDA stays together. There are reports suggesting that overtures are being made by the other side as well. So give us a sense of what we should expect from here. Are we seeing the Prime Minister at the BJP headquarters later this evening to start with? What's the plan from here on?
See, first of all, that's a rumor that they have been approached by other political parties or India Alliance or Congress for that matter. And also, let me tell you very candidly that we are a team united, the NDA partners, and there is absolutely no headroom for such rumors or for any other political party approaching any of our NDA partners. We are committed, united, and we will be forming the government. And of course, the Honorable Prime Minister is scheduled to come to the party headquarters from where we are all doing these live shows. He will, what we have heard, that he might come at around 7:30, and of course will address the Karyakartas as he does after every victory. This is a victory for NDA partners, and we will form the government. We will continue to follow the same policy what have been followed in last 10 years to serve the people, serve the nation. And of course, in terms of the economic issues, I'm sure that the indication is very clear, and everybody knows in the marketplace that we will take definitely reform measures going forward to ensure that there is an accelerated approach as far as economy is concerned, and more economic activity should take place. And
the concerns, Zafar,
to bring legislation.
Zafar, you know the markets. You know the markets well. Zafar, you know the markets well, and the concern at this point in time is that the kind of focus on reforms, etc., while that is likely to continue, perhaps there will be a larger dose of welfareism, to address some of the things that Yamini was talking about, the rural distress, and whether we are likely to see, for instance, in the coming budget, if the NDA were to stake claim to form government and form government, a change in or a change in prioritization. What do we make of that?
No, Shireen, let me tell you very with conviction that we are committed to people's welfare. That doesn't mean that we will take decision to somehow not address the concern in the economy and the marketplace. We will always prioritize market, economy, and that's what we have done. Our intention is very clear that we have to accelerate the process so that there is acceleration in the overall economic situation in the country. We must create India as a manufacturing hub. We must take action to ensure that lots more job is being created, and there will be absolutely no pushback from any of our alliance partners, because we are all like-minded. We all want the economy to grow. We all want India to grow at 8% and above, and we all want that more and more jobs should be created. We all want the India should become an export hub, a manufacturing hub, and welfare is, of course, is always a governance model. Any government has the governance model which always prioritize the concern of the citizen, and that we have prioritized in the last 10 years without compromising with the economic issues and where the structural or the policy reforms to be taken. We'll continue with that such worries should not be there at all.
Okay, that worry should not be there.
Let me
Yamini, I'll come
assure,
back to you
the
in just a second. Let me get Abbas into the...
Just as 10 seconds,
Yeah.
I'll take this opportunity, Shireen, to assure everyone in the marketplace that there'll be absolutely no pushback from any quarter. We will continue to follow the 100 days plan and 125 days plan, where the focus will be to bring more and more FDI, bring acceleration in economy, take more reform measures, and ensure that the interest of the common man on the streets is safeguarded. So there will be absolutely there is absolutely no headroom for any worries. If anybody has worries, put them out of their mind, because India is going to be governed by the policy level decision to be taken by the Prime Minister.
Well, the worry is real, and the stock markets told you that today with the kind of wealth erosion that we've seen. But let me, before I go to Yamini, let me get Abbas back in. Abbas, we are given to understand that the India Alliance has a meeting tomorrow. Can you take us through what we should expect now? What are you looking at from here on?
Well, it's not just about India Alliance, it's about NDA now. Because, Zafar Saab was telling a lot about what they're going to happen. But that can only happen if they're coming to power, which I doubt. Because, if you look at the track record of the Bharatiya Janata Party, there's a trust deficit between the ally partner. None of the ally partner of NDA trust the Bharatiya Janata Party, because even we never heard of NDA. We never heard that any meeting of NDA happened in 10 years. It just happened 8 months back, first at Ashoka Hotel, when all the ally partner was sitting, lined up, and the Prime Minister and the BJP leader were sitting on a stage. So basically, there is nothing called NDA. 26 parties in the NDA don't even have a single member of parliament in Lok Sabha. Just 2 parties had 2 MPs. 2 MP, that was the maximum. Now there are 2 parties which have been added up to the NDA fold, but I doubt, because there have been external pressure from the agencies on all the political parties, and I'm sure they would like to change, and the system will change on their own. Bharatiya Janata Party cannot reach 272 mark, that's for sure. And with the kind of trust deficit, with the kind of credibility they have with the allies and among the people, I don't think anybody is going to be with NDA anymore. That is the biggest challenge Bharatiya Janata Party will face. And as far as these markets are concerned, I believe that there has been artificial upsurge which was made by these exit poll, which have turned out to be totally fake, fraudulent. And I believe, now on, we are going to reform the economic policies of the country. We are going to end the crony capitalism, which was flourishing during the time of the BJP rule, I would say, not NDA rule, because it is just a one-party, one-man show. Modi ji and the BJP, that's all. That is not going to be anymore. And there's like the vibrant democracy we are into. India Alliance is going to show that, how this vibrant democracy works with so many, parties, so many visions, and so many, beliefs.
Yes. Well, that, Abbas, I have to say that is also a concern. While you hold that up as, a sign of a vibrant democracy, I think that is also a concern that too many cooks sometimes spoil the broth. But we leave that discussion for another day. Yamini, I want to come to you for closing comments on the back of what you heard from both Zafar and Abbas, and, leave us with what you're going to be watching out for from here on.
Well, Shireen, I think one of the big stories of this election, well, there are 2. One is about the restoration of democracy and democratic legitimacy of our institutions. The second is on the economy. And I think this is a message for both the political formations in contention, NDA and the India Alliance. In that, for the reality, behind all the BJP bluster of third largest economy, shiny digital infrastructure, India is growing, and the Indian economy couldn't be doing better, is a reality of the real economy in which real wages have stagnated, jobs are scarce, or at least good quality jobs that raise incomes are scarce. Agriculture has been the largest producer of jobs in the last 4 years, the reversal of the structural transformation that politicians of all political parties have sort of been responding to for the moment through enhanced welfareism, a very peculiar kind of welfareism, not about health and education, but about about cash transfers, private goods using public funds. And we are now in this election, I think, seeing the limits of these welfare coalitions. People in UP spoke of Rozgar, not Ration, or Rozgar and Ration rather. Jagan, who was one of the architects of the most largest cash transfer scheme targeted at women, has experienced a resounding defeat. The structural realities of the Indian economy need to be contended with. This means, regardless of NDA or India, probably NDA when it comes to power, please do the census. Please put out data on consumption expenditure survey, unit level data. Do not pretend that poverty has gone up or down and get away from the bluster. Let's get real and find answers to the deepest, most significant challenge that this country has. How do we grow in a way that lifts all boats genuinely by creating opportunity for all, not enhancing inequality as we've seen in the last decade?
Well, yes, that diagnosis and the data required for that diagnosis, as you point out, is essential. And we do hope that we will move forward with that census, which has been long pending. Yamini, Zafar and Abbas, thank you so much for joining us here on a big day for the Indian electorate, on a big day for Indian democracy. It is still moving. Actually, I haven't seen the needle turn at all in the last hour or so, but we will keep updating you with the details. But many thanks for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We are coming back with our editors roundtable. Nigel and Nimesh will take us through what is happening on the dealing desk and how sectoral indices are poised. All of that's coming back in just a bit.